Hey, what's up guys? William Agnew here. Welcome to another episode of the SWAT Tactical Growth Training. My name is William Agnew, and today, I want to help you guys understand how to get more customer acquisition for your business, also how to grow a fan base for your brand. It's very important. It's part of what you got to do today to be successful in the marketplace. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching one of the biggest companies in the world, Facebook, Everybody knows Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, has been on a 2-year journey of personal brand. So if they're doing it at that level, you should be doing it too, He's been out here trying to MMA fight Elon Musk, and which is hilarious in itself. Just the thought of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg actually MMA fighting each other is it does what it's supposed to do. It gets attention and it helps you like Mark. He becomes a more likable guy. Personal brand as well as business brand, or connecting the two, is very important in business today. The old guys, which I call the OGs, they'll never get it. They're never going to get it. They're never going to do it. But they didn't grow up with technology, The younger, more vibrant, more edgy entrepreneur, CEO, They understand how important it is to connect to likability, to trust, to the know of the customer. And that has a lot to do with the bottom line in terms of adoption and adaptation to that product or that service. That being said, it's important to do stuff like this, man. You got to connect. You got to be taking the internet. You got to be taking information, the information age. You got to be taking content capturing, and you got to be implementing that into your business so people know, like, and trust you. They know who you are. And when they do, they're going to choose you over the person that isn't a high percentage of the time. That being said, what we do here at SWAT Tactical is we help our customers actually implement and install and integrate that type of deal into their business, And we do it from a tactical approach. Again, you got to understand strategic versus tactical. Strategy is your vision for growth. It's what you're going to be doing over the next 2 to 5, 3 to 10, years, That's your big vision. In that, you got to be good with the tactical day-to-day things that you need to do to reach those goals. And that's what we focus here on here at SWAT Tactical. So welcome. Today, tip number one, tip of the day, we're going to be talking about what camera, is the best camera to actually use to capture that content. There's several different elements to doing exactly what I just talked about in terms of presenting your value to the marketplace, building your brand, building your personal brand, your brand awareness, all of that kind of stuff. So again, the tactical part is getting in the minutia, getting in the weeds, so to speak, and breaking that all the way down. So here we focus on one aspect at a time, because we understand that's the best way for people to learn too. One thing at a time. What tends to happen is people take on too much. They get totally inundated with too much information, and they have analysis paralysis. They don't take any steps because it seems so much bigger than it needs to. Here we do what we call micro training. We break it all the way down, Micro learning, micro training, one tip, one step at a time. So go ahead, like us, follow us, so you guys can get those tips. And as you start to build on those tips, what you're going to see is it becomes easier for you to implement personal awareness branding, personal business branding, personal branding, and yourself, people branding, which is very important. So the thing we're going to talk about today, today's tip, is just the thing we use to capture the content with in terms of the visual aspect. There's a podcast. See, people do podcasts, people do video casts, There's several different ways to do it, and all of them have been successful. But if you're looking to do, say, a podcast where you're actually sitting down, you're having what they call dialogue, debates, you're having personal guests, you're having public dialogue, you're having conversations with people inside of your business or outside of your business, and you want that to be really controlled, then the best way to do that is what we call video casting. And what we've been doing here at SWAT is building out our video casting division, where we actually have the things that we need to video cast, invite members and guests and team members and training, and right in-house to do. That being said, what we're going to talk about today is the actual device that we use to capture that content, which is the Sony digital camera ZV-1. This is a great camera, and I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why we actually choose this camera. The first reason being is that we love the fact that you can get an extended, or what we call a external battery adapter. Listen, there's nothing more frustrating than having a John Blaze podcast. It's going great, but all the while you're worried about whether your camera is gonna last in terms of battery life. because a couple of things can happen. Number one, it can destroy the momentum of the conversation, which is horrible. Oh, hold up, guys. Stop for a minute while I change the battery, okay? If you're in the middle of a great podcast, great conversation, a great dialogue, you don't want to have that happen. So what you can get here is an external battery where you actually plug it into the camera, you plug it into the outlet, and you don't have to worry about that. Obviously, in proximity, you got to be around an outlet for that to happen. But if you got a podcast room set up, you just got to set it up where in proximity, your camera's in proximity to where you can plug it in or you can run the line, right? Either way, this is the best option because it gives you that option. I can tell you all cameras don't have that option, right? So that being said, you definitely want to get one that does, and this one definitely does. Number two, resolution, autofocus. Very, very important. You want a camera that autofocuses really, really well. And I say that to say sometimes things change within the room. So if your guest moves or if they shift or if something happens that's uncontrollable in the environment, sometimes your camera may go out of focus. And that's the worst thing to have because there's nothing you can do as an editor when you're going to post this to fix that camera shot except put a shot over it. And sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do that. So you want a camera that has a really, really good autofocus. This camera has a really, really good autofocus as well as resolution. 1080p, 4K, you can shoot in either one. We choose 1080p because it's just from a quality standpoint, it keeps the file sizes small. 4K is a little different. You can tell, to the trained eye, it looks more crispy. But with that being said, 1080p is going to be suffice for what you need versus 4K, and the files are easier to work with. Bottom line. All right, number three. Moving on to number three. This is probably the most important for a lot of you guys who are watching this. Cost, right? Because these things can get relatively expensive. So this one, for what it does, for the quality at which it delivers, it's about 800 bucks, right? Somewhere between 700, 800 bucks. You can probably get a used one for about 500 bucks. So I would say we got about 4 of these, costs us about 3,200. You don't need 4. You probably need 2 at the minimum, I would suggest. 1 works depending on what type of casting you're going to be doing. Maybe you're doing just a POV where you're just talking to your customers, right? And you're doing a one-on-one. But if you're going to have guests, I would suggest you have at least 2, right? So you don't have to do so much post-editing at the end of the process. And that's really it, guys, from a tactical standpoint. Again, we focus on tactical, one step at a time. And the content capture device that we suggest here at SWAT Tactical is the Sony digital camera ZV-1 or a model that's close to this. They come in different models. Obviously, they come out maybe every 2 years with a different model. So this is the model that we actually use. We got a few of them and they work really well for us. All right. If you guys got any questions, please go ahead, like us, follow us. We do tips like this all the time, education, training. If you need help, you can call us. We got consulting options. We also have installation options where we can actually set this up for you here at SWAT Tactical Training. This is the division. This is what we do, and we help other people do exactly what we do, right? Which is grow your brand and grow your business. At the end of the day, you need to be doing this so that people can know, like, and trust you, and you can be increasing your bottom line and your awareness, right? Which is essential to business growth, right? SWAT Tactical Training, William Agnew. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Y'all stay tactical. You hear? Peace out.